So my name is Emmanuel Yatekwe LARTEY, and by the grace of God, the Bishop of the North American Diocese of the Methodist Church, Ghana. I am married to the lovely Griselda Nachiche LARTEY. She was a quaw, and she is the mother. We have four sons and currently have four grandchildren as well. Griselda, my ministry has been since commissioning in 1979. I have served in the Methodist Church Ghana, and it's been a joy and a delight to serve the Lord in these different countries and different spaces. I always give glory to God for the grace that I have experienced down through these years. One of the most impactful areas of my life and ministry have been in relation to ministry, evangelism, mission work that for me actually began prior to my entry into the ministry in the Methodist Church. I was commissioned. I was a part of the group that was to have been commissioned in 1978. But prior to that, I was a founding member of the group that is known as the Joyful Way Incorporated. So I was one of the founding members of this music ministry that was about, and still is about, the sharing of the gospel through contemporary music and through testimony of the impact of Christ on our lives. And that has been for me a great inspiration. Having myself been impacted by Christ in those early 70s, I have sought always to be a testament and to be one who testifies of the impact, the life-transforming impact of Christ to all people, especially young people. And so this has been one of my inspirations for ministry, has been how can I more effectively testify to the impact of Christ in our lives, especially the life-transforming impact. Because my experience of Christ was genuinely life-transforming. And so this has been both a challenge and an inspiration that I have carried throughout my years of ministry. How can I help? How can I be myself a testimony and a testament to Christ? And how can I inspire and encourage others to be so? So I have had pioneering roles. I was the first minister to be appointed to Kwashiman Society in the Kaneshi circuit, and so was, in a sense, trailblazing. I'm delighted that Kwashiman is a circuit now, and indeed, whenever I visit and see the development, I'm inspired by those early works that we were involved in, that they have borne fruit, and there continues to be people who experience Christ and speak about Christ and organize for greater development and greater work for the glory of God. In 2017, just fast forwarding a little bit, in 2017, the North America Mission Diocese was inaugurated at a gathering, a synod gathering that was held in Toronto, Canada. There was the formal establishment of North America Mission Diocese. And to the glory of God, 5 years on, this year, 2022, at the conference in Winnipeg, just held this past August, North America Mission Diocese has now become North America Diocese, and it will be inaugurated as such in January 2023. And so my involvement has been from the creation of community churches through the establishment of relationships with United Methodist churches that often provided the premises, right, where worship services were held, through the establishment of a mission diocese and into the full diocesan status that has been achieved. There was a significant gathering that the presiding Bishop Emmanuel Asante summoned in Ebri. And at that meeting, we gathered together from different parts of the United States and Canada. And we thought together about how things might be organized better in ways that would lead us into what we now have. And it was my honor and responsibility that was given to me to be the secretary for that Ebri meeting. And so I was very much involved in the writing, the drafting of the proposals that led to the establishment of what was then we asked for the establishment of supervising missions coordinator, an SMC, supervising missions coordinator, and the Right Reverend Asari, Benjamin Asari, was first appointed to be the supervising missions coordinator. That was a direct result of the consultation that was held in Ebri, as I've said, at which it was my responsibility and honor to act as secretary. So my involvement has been at these various kinds of levels, but it's been a joy to help craft as well as help develop what is now our diocese. So currently we have 4 circuits. The circuits are very expansive. I'm going to begin from the north, the northernmost part of North America, that is Canada. And we have the Toronto circuit. The Toronto circuit spans the whole country of Canada, from Vancouver to the west, through Toronto to the east. And so this is a circuit that runs through the whole country. Tremendous. We are in the process of having 3 sections of that circuit, which will be a west, a mid section, and an east section. But that is a growing and developing circuit, Toronto circuit. And then we have the Washington circuit that is in and around Washington, D.C., Maryland, and that is perhaps the first of our circuits is the Washington circuit. Then we have the Newark, New Jersey circuit. Newark, New Jersey circuit is our cathedral circuit. It's where our cathedral, Emmanuel Church or Emmanuel Cathedral, Newark, New Jersey, is actually the seat of our new diocese. And then we have the Atlanta circuit as the 4th circuit. Again, this is a circuit that spans the east through the west of the southern part of the United States of America. So there are churches in Atlanta up to Ohio, and then going west we have Denver, Colorado, we have Dallas, Texas. In Texas we have Dallas, Houston, and Austin. And then going even further west, we have Arizona, and then we have also the latest society that was inaugurated, which was inaugurated just this past summer. This is in Los Angeles, California. So a part of Atlanta Circuit that expands from West Coast to East Coast in the south. So you have this situation where in the north you have the Toronto Circuit that spans the whole country, and then in the south you have the Atlanta Circuit that expands right across the whole of the south of the United States of America. These are churches, these are societies. In all, there are 37 societies in our diocese, and each is developing. We are at work with the strategic plan, so planting churches. Each circuit is committed to and actively engaged in planting churches, as well as reviving, strengthening, and encouraging the churches that already exist. I would say the achievements have been those of organizing, establishing, and growing churches. So I mentioned the inauguration of LA Society. Well, there's also been the inauguration of Houston Society. Texas is one of the large states. And I consider it an achievement because it is interesting to see how, say, Houston Society develops into a full-fledged society, from being a nursery society, how it develops into a full-fledged society. And then the LA Society, where we have positioned the Reverend Isaac Boama, who is the circuit superintendent for the Atlanta circuit, has been positioned and stationed in LA so that he can be in the forefront of the frontier, the spearheading of this particular area of growth. It is the first society that we have established on the West Coast of the United States of America. And this has been the result of commissioned studies that the diocese made, locating where there are numbers of Ghanaian immigrants and targeting those areas for church planting. So California was one of those areas, especially Southern California, where LA is located. And so it was a result of research that identified population, places where there are sizable populations, and then actively working to establish nursery societies and places where people can gather together as Methodists, and out of those developing these new full-fledged societies. So those have been the achievements. Those have been the that mission-mindedness has been what I would say has really encouraged, fueled, and people have worked very hard to ensure that these societies are established and that they grow. Challenges have again got to do with organization. You know, how do you really get people to meet together, to rally together? There are huge distances involved in each of these. But again, if you look at Atlanta as a circuit, you're talking of 3 time zones, right? So when it is you're having a meeting, if you're trying to organize a circuit meeting, for example, a circuit standing committee or something, you must bear in mind that when it is 8 p.m. on the east, it's 5 p.m. On the west. And so what time are you going to place your meeting for all to participate? Thankfully, we have Zoom and so on, so we are able to transcend some of the challenges of meeting, transportation costs and so on by holding these meetings via Zoom. But then there's the challenge also of the time, because people are working, and if you have it, you're going to have it at 9 p.m., that's late for others, you know, and there are people who are working nights, for example. So seeking the best time for even meeting is a challenge because of the different time zones. There are also difficulties around and challenges of premises. Most of our churches rent premises from other churches or other facilities, right, to hold worship services. And so services have to be held, say, in the afternoon after the occupants or the owners have also had their time. So these have been real difficulties and challenges. Because everybody wants to go to church at 10 a.m. or 9:30, right? But you're not going to be able to do that because you don't have the premises. And you're going to have to find money to pay your rent. Whereas you're not actually able to use the facility to the fullest because it's not your own. So challenges of premises, challenges of time, and these are the real difficulties that we have faced and continue to face, and we continue to look for means, what we call resource mobilization, Now our major circuit heads, Toronto, Washington, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, the central places own their own buildings. Atlanta being the latest, with having premises of their own. Newark, New Jersey, and Washington have had premises of their own for a while. But the other churches continue to face some difficulties. I will also say that Worcester, which is in the Newark, New Jersey circuit, Worcester has just recently purchased property for themselves, and sooner rather than later that will also be dedicated and so on. Dallas, we recently dedicated the Dallas church's building, and they have a large expanse of land around them which now belongs to Methodist Church Ghana. And so there are achievements in the face of some of these challenges of premises and some of the difficulties of organizing, because people are working at different times and so on. Some of the members, some of the people in our churches have to work 2-3 jobs in order to make it, and so it's a struggle. The overarching vision is actually coinciding very well with our church's strategic plan. For my vision for North America Diocese is one of revitalization or revival and growth. These are the two dimensions of what I believe we need to be focusing on in this time. So let me say a few words first about revitalization or revival. There are small groups and small bodies of people. Some like to call them nursery societies. I just like to call them small societies, because some of these nursery societies have people of great experience, but they are just a few. So they are not nursery in any sense. They are other than in size. So the challenge, but also the vision, is how can we strengthen? How can we revive, right? How can we give life to these small groups, call them even pockets of people who are meeting together? It is through prayer and through the encouragement of the others who are around, if you like, the more established and the larger groups, encouraging, organizing revivals, camp meetings, things that will help to revitalize, strengthen them, and a lot of teaching. Which involves helping people to develop their devotional lives, develop them through Bible study, prayer, and through fellowship. So that's one of the areas that I believe that we have got to continue to infuse our churches with that spirit of renewal, that spirit of revival, that will inspire us to draw on the power of the Holy Spirit, draw on the presence of Christ, and utilize these means to keep us inspired, keep us alive in the face of the challenges, in the face of the difficulties, to keep us, keep the fire burning, keep our spirits up. In the face of racism, in the face of denigration, there are some who would consider that being African, we probably don't have anything good to contribute, right? And we have got to be able to actively challenge such misapprehensions, and we can only do it if we are strong and strengthened from within. So revitalization, renewal, revival is very strong in my sense of what we ought to be doing, my vision for us. Active partnership and collaboration with existing churches, right? Rather than seeing ourselves as being in competition, right? United Methodists have for long provided premises, sometimes rental premises, sometimes with United Methodists, the rental has been pretty low because they consider ourselves to be fellow Methodists. But the relationship with United Methodists has also been challenging, so that there are some among us who would want us to have nothing to do with the United Methodist Church. I don't think that it is the best way to grow. The best way to grow, I believe, is one of both collaboration and also decisiveness, right? So we know that we are establishing communities within the Methodist Church Ghana, under the Conference of the Methodist Church Ghana. And we do so in active relationship and collaboration with other denominations. AME, for example, is strong. AME, AME Zion, CME. These are all part of our Methodist family. And as we collaborate, we are better able to grow. They can benefit from how we do things, and we can also benefit from relationship with them. So, revitalization, growth, expansion. We need to move out. There are 37 churches, as I've said. The total Christian community is just under 4,000. So it's not a huge number at the moment. I keep saying to us that 4,000, well, that's just like one society here in Ghana. Yeah? If you look at Calvary Society just down here, that's about the number. So we are, in numerical terms, we are rather small, right? And so growth for me means that we will double that membership and can do so within the shortest possible time. We can go from 4,000, and I'm challenging us to target 10,000. Because if I look at, I live in Atlanta, I look at the Ghanaian community in Atlanta, we're told that the number is over 20,000, the Ghanaian. Now, of course, Church of Pentecost is there, Presbyterian Church, there are other Ghanaian churches there. But I'm talking about the demographics. It's 20,000 in Atlanta alone. Say nothing about New York, which has an even larger community of Ghanaians. And I know that, as I'm saying, there are other denominations. But many of them have roots within Methodism. And so if we organize ourselves better, if we are people who are seen as embracing others and lifting up our rich heritage as Methodists, I believe that we will be able to grow and people would want to come and be a part of our vision for growth. Means that we have to overcome the challenge of divisiveness that has often bedeviled all our efforts. And so my prayer and my vision and what I am working on and seek to continue to work on is that of collaboration, of unity, of coming together. For that is the means by which we will grow. What I would like to pay great compliments to previous ministers who have worked in North America, making mention of people like Very Reverend Dr. John A.K. Bomfo, supernumerary. He worked for many years in Washington area and established one of the churches that is now one of our leading churches. So pay honor and tribute to people like Very Reverend Dr. John Bomfo, Very Reverend Professor Joseph Osei, who sadly has just passed away within the last few weeks. He was, again, for many years, instrumental in the forming and the founding of churches that have become part of our diocese. So I want to honor people who have served on the ground as ministers there. The late Bishop Ghani, Joseph Cole Ghani, who was Winneba Diocesan Bishop, who again has passed away. But these are people who worked significantly. We will mention Very Reverend Kofi Bart Martin, who is among us still and in the Washington circuit, but several people who have worked hard on the ground. I would also like to honor previous presiding bishops. I made mention of Presiding Bishop Asante and previous presiding bishops, Bishop Titus Pratt, also our current presiding bishop, Most Reverend Paul Boafu, for the work that they have done in helping to steer and organize and arrange for growth and for organizational structures that will facilitate our work over there, for their concern, for their interest, for their support, and for their encouragement. A host of lay people, too numerous for me to even begin to name, but these will all be honored and mentioned in the course of the activities of our inauguration. And I would just like to render thanks to everyone who has made efforts, however large or small, in the strengthening, the encouragement, and the development of what is now the North America Diocese. To the glory of God, the first Diocese of the Methodist Church, Ghana, outside of the geographical boundaries of our great and beloved country.